On the morning of my wedding, my father's name lit up my phone for the first time in 9 years. My dress hung on the closet door. The three-tier cake I'd baked the night before sat cooling in the venue kitchen, and my phone buzzed on the vanity with a single word glowing on the screen. Dad. 9 years earlier, my sister told our parents I was selling drugs. They believed her. Within the week, my duffel bag was sitting on the front porch. What that message said on my wedding morning, and what I texted back 60 minutes before I walked down the aisle, is something my family will be explaining for years. Welcome back to Hearthly Stories, where the quiet ones in the family finally get to tell their side. If you believe the truth is worth waiting 9 years for, drop a comment and subscribe. My name is Birdie Uli. I'm 31. Second rise smells like brown butter at 4 in the morning, and that smell belongs to me. I built it. Every burn scar on my forearms is a receipt. The bakery sits on Main Street in Harwick, and we live in the apartment above it. Noah, my husband now, is a carpenter. He proposed with a ring hidden in my box of instant yeast. That's where I keep everything that matters, he said. He wasn't wrong. For 9 years, everything that mattered to me fit in places I could lock. A lease with only my name on it, a bank account nobody else could touch, a man who knocks before opening a door in his own house. People call that independence. I call it what's left over after your family holds a trial without you and you lose. I grew up in Millbrook in a house that ran on one unspoken rule. Whoever cries loudest gets heard first. My mother died of an aneurysm when I was 13. My father, Mark, remarried 2 years later, Sharon, a receptionist with a 9-year-old daughter named Leah, whom he adopted the following spring. Sharon ran the house like a waiting room, everything scheduled, nothing examined. Leah was small, pretty, and had learned young that fear was currency. I learned a different trade, quiet, good grades, dishes done before anyone asked. I thought if I could just be easy enough to love, I'd get to stay. At 15, Leah cut her own arm the night before a dinner celebrating my pastry scholarship. Not deep enough. The dinner was canceled. The scholarship was never mentioned again. That night, my father stopped me in the hallway and said, I have to protect this family. Not to Leah, to me. As if I were the weather, by 22, I'd saved $4,000 over 2 years. Waitressing mornings, stocking shelves at night, toward a commercial kitchen deposit and a used display case. I kept a second phone just for catering orders. One evening, Leah found me counting the envelope on my bed. Where'd that come from? She asked. I told her the truth. She smiled and drifted off. 3 weeks later, it came apart in 1 week. Sharon found her missing sedatives tucked under my sweaters, beside my envelope. Leah, summoned to the living room, dissolved into tears and said I'd been selling around town. The flip phone was for buyers. She'd been too scared to tell. She never said the word drugs plainly. She didn't have to. I brought bank slips, offered to be drug tested that night. Sharon delivered the line I still hear in my sleep. Tests can be cheated. That Saturday, before anyone could check anything, Leah took the wrong pills and was rushed to the AR. She was fine by Sunday. But you cannot cross-examine a girl with a hospital bracelet. The following Friday, my duffel bag sat zipped on the porch, my winter coat folded on top. My father stood in the doorway and said the sentence this whole story hangs on. I have to protect this family, I asked. From me? He said nothing at all. The silence lasted 4 seconds. Bread takes longer to brown. I slept in my car for 3 nights, then drove 40 minutes to Harwick, where nobody knew my name. A diner called Rosa's had steamed windows and a owner, Rosa Delgado, who watched me the way you watch a pot deciding whether to boil over. She hired me on the spot to wash dishes and rented me the storage room out back for almost nothing. She never once asked what happened. That first night, I made myself a promise. I would never again live anywhere I could be voted out of. 9 years, sped up. 2 years washing dishes, then Rosa tasting my lemon bars and clearing me a corner of the diner. A line out the door on Saturdays. My own apartment, my own deadbolt. Meanwhile, back in Millbrook, the lie about me had settled into the drinking water. No one needed to keep telling it for people to keep believing it. One person never bought it. My father's mother, Nana Ruth, drove out every first Tuesday for 6 years. She always slid me $40 for the display case and never once asked if I'd done it. I know money when I see it, she told me, and I know my son when he's scared. When she died, I wasn't allowed to speak at her funeral. Sharon asked me to sit in back and keep things simple. Afterward, my cousin Beth handed me Nana Ruth's recipe box in the parking lot with a note inside. Truth doesn't need a crowd, it just needs time. Noah came into my life through a broken oven door. Literally, he was the repairman. On our 4th date, I told him everything. He didn't look for holes in my story. He just said, so they never asked to see the bank slips again after that night, like he was checking a joint that didn't sit square. He believed me before I finished talking. I didn't know that was allowed. We opened Second Rise 18 months later, next door to Rose's. Noah proposed that summer with the ring in the yeast box. That night, giddy and happy, I sat down to write the wedding guest list and froze at the printed line. Father of the bride, I left it blank for weeks. Noah finally asked, gently, "Who's walking you in?" I said I didn't know. That was a lie. My cousin Beth was the only bridge left between my two worlds. When she RSVP'd yes to our wedding, she also asked one question that cost me a month of sleep. What if they changed before October? I laughed it off. That night I lay awake and ran a whole fantasy. My father calling, apologizing, standing in the front row in a gray suit. Hope, for people like me, isn't a gift, it's a tax. At the end of July, Beth called with a crack in her voice. Leah, now 25 and drowning in debt, had confessed everything at a family meeting. The sedative she'd planted, the story she'd invented in one afternoon, the flip phone that was only ever birthday cakes. 9 years of my life, undone in under an hour, and the family had sat on it for a month, telling no one, handling it privately. No call came, no letter. Vindication, it turns out, arrives with no confetti. August became a campaign of guilt instead of an apology. An aunt texted family as family, honey with a praying hands emoji. Sharon sent a letter, 3 paragraphs about Leah's fragility, and one line for me. We hope you can find grace in your heart. Twice that month, Rosa saw my father's truck roll slowly past the bakery at closing. He never once got out. In September, I carried a box of lemon bars through to Rosa's side of the building before opening. I asked her to walk me down the aisle. She wiped her dry hands on her apron 3 times before she could answer. I've been practicing my walk for 9 years, she said. That night I filled in the blank line on the seating chart. Father of the bride, Rosa Delgado. It wasn't revenge. It was an answer, and answers like that don't come with an undo. 10 days before the wedding, Leah checked herself into a hospital's behavioral health unit. Real, this time, no manufactured crisis. The next morning, Sharon called me directly for the first time in 9 years. No hello. Just, if something happens to her while you're celebrating, that's on your conscience. The same old tool, dressed up new. I answered evenly, told her I hoped Leah got the help she needed, and hung up. The night before the wedding, I baked my own cake from Nana Ruth's hot milk recipe card, the ink gone gray from age. Noah stole frosting off a beater and said, "Whatever tomorrow brings, we already won." Not a pep talk, an inventory. The morning was cold gold October light and bobby pins, and someone hunting a missing flower girl shoe. In the middle of it, my phone buzzed against the vanity. Dad, still saved under that name after 9 years. That's where hope hides, in the settings you never update. I let it ring out. Then came a message too long for the preview. Leah told us everything. I know I'm 9 years too late. She's in the hospital and she's asking for you, Bertie. I'm asking for me. Let me have the father-daughter dance. Give me the chance I didn't give you. I read it twice. Everything I'd rationed for 9 years was in that message. The admission, my name spelled out, an apology arriving exactly 1 hour before the aisle, at the last possible discount. I stood up, because sitting felt like agreeing to something. I typed back, "No drafts this time. You believed her in one night. It took you 9 years to believe me. The dance is taken." Then I wrote to Leah, a number I'd kept but never used. "I hope you get well. Not for them. For you." I turned my phone off and handed it to Beth. "Until tomorrow." I said. That's when the cost came due. All at once, standing in a farmhouse bedroom in a white dress, because sending that text meant the man in the gray suit was never coming. Not late, not someday. I had spent 9 years angry at my real father, while quietly saving a seat for an imaginary one. I buried the imaginary one in about a minute, dry-eyed, on a deadline. I hadn't removed the 2 front-row chairs I'd been avoiding all spring. On one sat a silver-framed photo of Nana Ruth, laughing. On the other sat her recipe box, the hot milk card standing upright in front of it. Rosa walked me down the aisle in navy blue, more nervous than I was. Every face in that barn belonged to someone who'd shown up during the 9 years. Not before them, not after the verdict. We skipped the father-daughter dance entirely. The DJ simply said, "The bride will now dance with the woman who gave her a shot." Halfway through the song, Beth touched my shoulder and nodded toward the window. In the gravel lot stood my father's truck, and my father beside it in his good jacket, hat in both hands, watching the lit barn through the glass. He never took a step closer. I gave him one small nod. He returned it, put his hat back on, and drove away. It was the most honest conversation we'd had in 9 years. 5 months later, Leah asked to meet me at a park. 4 months sober by then. She read from a folded page so she wouldn't perform it. Named the pill bottle, the invented story, the fear underneath it, and asked for nothing in return. "You don't owe me a relationship," she said. "I just didn't want to be one more person who never said it to your face." I told her the truest thing I had. "I forgive you, and we're not going back." Both are true. We trade birthday cards now. That's the entire relationship, and it's honest. My father's card came to the bakery mailbox last month. It's in the drawer under the register, unopened, not thrown away. Some doors you don't walk through, and you don't nail shut either. On Sunday mornings, Second Rise runs a free class now. The chalkboard says, "Baking for anyone starting over." We fill every seat, that's my story. One lie that cost 9 years, 2 chairs in a front row, and a dance that was already taken. If you're the one your family didn't believe, your truth doesn't need a crowd. It just needs time. If this story found you at the right moment, share it with someone who needs it. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. From Hearthly Stories.